A lot of speculation about the future of Ligt, linking him to Manchester United, Gab.
Yeah, and look, I mean, this is one of those things where there isn't much going on. Sometimes these transfer stories take on a life of their own. The indication that we've had is that, De Ligt was well settled at Juventus. Obviously, he was on the bench early in the season, even after Chiellini got hurt. Demiral was starting, then Demiral got hurt. But over the past sort of 6 weeks before the break, De Ligt had been starting. He'd been playing really, really well. And there was, it was a sense that he was still a very young player. So I would be slightly skeptical about this, also because he would cost an absolute mint, given that Juventus paid a ton of money for him. Also, if United were so fixated on him, surely they could have signed him last summer, when of course they didn't. It just seems like an odd one at this time. There's another obvious factor in this mix, which I think might make United a little bit skeptical, which is of course De Ligt's, the guy who looked after him is Mino Raiola, who isn't exactly super popular at United. Of course, he's also the agent to Paul Pogba and Romero and others. All that said, the only way I see this happening is if Juventus find themselves in a situation where they need to raise cash quickly. Obviously, they made a hefty loss at the 6-month mark, but they were going to claw it back later, or they hope to claw it back later. Now, we don't know how the pandemic is obviously going to affect them. I think every club is obviously hit hard, but De Ligt is one of Juve's most saleable assets, alongside with Paulo Dybala. So that would be the only possible scenario, but I find that very, very far-fetched at this time. I'm sure United are monitoring them like they monitor every talented young player out there, but I think it would be bizarre for me to think that United would make him a priority now in April, and that Juve would consider a move like this now in April.
What's more far-fetched, De Ligt or Erling Haaland, Gab?
Well, I mean, bear in mind, I think we are taping this on April Fool's Day, if I'm not mistaken. So the thing with the Erling Haaland argument is that he does have a release clause, but now this is something that Borussia Dortmund haven't officially said he has a release clause, but most people who have tracked the story and their reporting suggests that he does have a release clause, but that doesn't come into effect, my understanding is, until the summer of 2021. So this idea that you can get Erling Haaland for the release clause, which most people peg at around 70, 80 million euros, something like that, simply isn't true. Now, the question would be, why would Haaland, having said no to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and United in January, suddenly change his mind in the summer and say, hey, I want to be on the move again? It seems like an odd situation. It also seems odd for the same reasons that we mentioned before. Marcus Rashford coming back from injury, Mason Greenwood developing. Igalo has contributed, in the games that he's played in. Is this really the absolute priority for Manchester United right now? And of course, at the risk of repeating myself, who looks after Erling Braut Haaland? Why? It's Mino Raiola again. You'd almost wonder if United aren't gluttons for punishment in linking or in being linked to two guys represented by Mino. It's almost like Mino's like a bad relationship that you just can't shake. So again, for these reasons, it would seem improbable to me at this time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.